What is going on, guys? Boop here, and welcome back in a long time to another video. Today we're going to be looking at some of the scrims that have been hosted over on the Noble Discord. The following VOD review was done on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/poopnow. I am planning to go live every single day for this month of September, so if you're interested in catching it live and asking questions, feel free to check it out. In this VOD review, we kind of focus on Hen, Decyptos and Putrick, who are all pro players in EU, and this was actually the first pro EU scrim that we've seen in the new season. Now in this review, you saw a few things that were really important in stacked lobbies. First of all, the prioritization, what the hell was that? The prioritization of the power positions. A lot of around the maps you see big mountains, you see towers, you see very good positions you can hold early on in the game to get Storm Surge. But there's also positions you can get early on so that you can hold other players. The importance of gaining these power positions early on is so that you can stop people's rotations from around you and kind of give you a free rotation around the map. So in general, you want to aim for these mountains, aim for the higher ground positions early on into the game so you can maintain control of that area and stop other people from rotating around you. The second thing that's really important that we saw a lot in these kind of games was lobby spraying. It is vital that you carry Harpoon in this meta because you need to get refreshes on your movement and your materials because it's very difficult without launch pads nowadays to rotate 50-50 and first moving. So a lot of these players use crash pads, for example, to start lobby sprays on other players by destroying their builds. Forcing these lobby sprays can be absolutely vital in giving you the best possible chance at winning the game. Another thing we saw by Hen here is that they kind of use the Shockwaves really differently than you would expect. In the Season 10 meta, you saw a lot of players using Shockwaves as a trio together, which is completely fine in this meta. However, in certain terrains, so mountain ranges, zones and moving zones that go high in elevation, you kind of want to see if you can split up your Shockwaves if you have many of them, so that if one of the players gets stuck, you guys can always get yourself out of the sticky situations. This is good because you basically give every single person in your trio a lifeline, make it very difficult for you guys to die as a solo. Another thing we saw, which was really important, is playing the format. You need to know what the format is that you're playing. In FNCS or in the DreamHack format, for example, two completely different things. We see a lot of trios make the mistake of going for height way too early or going for height way too late. You need to know how many people are left and how many points you're still left to play for. So for example, if you have 12 players left, for example, in a lobby, how many teams are probably left at this point? Probably a good amount since it's trios and you can expect a lot of solos. So you add 13 people left, for example, in final zone, and you want to make a hype play. That might be 6 different teams that are still alive and you can get points off of. So it's really important to take note of that and look at that when you're playing those final moving zones. The last thing that you want to think about as well is your priority on materials versus positioning. So for example, if you land somewhere like a Slurpee, and you have a zone that goes all the way northeast of the map, you might want to prioritize your metal before rotating instead of farming wood. This is really important since you can get wood later on your rotates, you can get brick later on your rotates, but it's really difficult to get metal in this current meta and situation because all of the cars are gone, and it's basically impossible to get max metal as a trio unless you're landing at one of these POIs. So if you have far zones like this, focus on your metal. Focus on whatever material is scarce in your rotation. Focus on that and get the rest later. All in all, the biggest theme that we saw out of this VOD review that we did was that it's important to have good team play and chemistry. So basically, you want to be together all the time in moving zones, and your first priority, if you ever do get split, is to get back together because you can win so many more fights if you're together, all ready to edit a wall, all ready to box up a player and take that advantage. It's not that difficult, but a lot of players forget to, and it's frankly a skill to be able to know where your teammates are and efficiently get back to them. But that's pretty much the main points that we saw in this video. So the rest of this video is going to be the VOD review of one of the games. Hopefully you enjoy it and hopefully you learned something from it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in a bit. Looking at stacked trios, like you really want to be like central on most zones in trios, especially when there's 90+ people in the lobby. So like my first instinct here is like you want to push towards these mountains here, right? Like you want to either take control of this or take control of this mountain to give you easy access to either side of the map, so you can go fast in second zone center. I think second zone center in this meta is probably really good, especially when it's this fucking stacked. Like you don't have to play for third zone center, which is impossible unless you get very lucky with zone, right? So you're playing basically for second zone center most of the time. What about North Mountains? Isn't it easier to rotate downwards and upwards? Unless you're actually landing near that area, it's a lot harder to get that mountain, right? I mean, it's a decent spot, but the thing about going central in first zone is that basically when you have a zone like this, a lot of that congestion starts pushing up towards those mountains, right? So you're always relying on what other people are doing for your rotates. So immediately committing to this when you have to go either this way, or this way is a lot harder than rotating from one of these mountains and going wide on them and then cutting in when you feel like it's dead side again. This just gets you tagged up a lot more, I think, if you go to first zone center. Like, if you commit to these mountains. Like, you can get good storm surge tags, obviously. A little bit less on this side, because everyone avoids authority. And most people that land like Frenzy are wide wrapping like this. People who land Salty are wide wrapping into Weeping. So, in the end, your storm surge isn't that great. It's maybe like people coming from Lazy if you're going quickly from Slurpee, for example.
Mid-zone. Every zone.
Interesting. So, he actually... I think that's Decyptos? No, I think that's Putrick that said that. He wants to go mid-zone every zone. But they're like already on this edge, right? So there's not much point committing to one side already. I feel like you just stay for a second.
I think we need to wait this zone and then go middle.
That's, yeah, okay, thank you, Putrick. Putrick is my duo. He knows. Like, they're already on this edge, right? So they're not like complete edge where you have to kind of get past this initially awkward stage. They're at like a point like in the inner circle of zone where you have kind of free access to go fast on the second zone. Which is why I think like playing ultimate edge isn't really good in anything like solos or trios. You always want to be like committed to the inner ring. So like if you have a zone like this, you always want to be somewhere between these two lines, right? So that you're not stuck like on the edge with all the people that are playing edge or like they came from storm, but you have access to go like quicker on things, so you don't have to rely on other people on your rotates. Like you never want to rely on other people on your rotates because that just fucks you up. A lot more people are playing more closer to center zone second
yeah, we can, but
in these type of games. Why is that? I think people just realize how much more important second zone positioning is. Like in a lot of zones, you want to think about worst case. Like I always talk about this worst case scenarios and stuff, right? So if you have this is first zone, for example, and I know it's a lot bigger than usual. And let's say you have second zone like this. Ah, fuck, that's way too big, but whatever. For like demonstration purposes, let's say second zone is like this, right? And let's say you are someone that lands Sweaty, for example. Okay, first zone edge, fine. Okay, and then we're going to play second zone edge. Sure. And then let's say third zone center's here. Are you ever getting third zone center here? Probably not, right? But if you position yourself more closer towards center zone second, then you have a lot easier access to get third zone center from either side. So if zone pulls back, you can get third zone center fast. If zone pulls here, you have easier access from third zone center. Maybe this is a little bit easier, but like you're playing for the worst case scenario. So a lot of people play a lot more second zone center on terrains that's a lot more difficult. So terrains that are difficult, for example, are places like Holly Hedges where you have a lot of open space, meaning it's really difficult to rotate without getting tagged. Places like Frenzy, again, a lot of open space. It's really difficult to rotate this without getting tagged. Mountain areas, obviously you want to take power positions early on, etc, etc. Like,
they saw you, they saw you.
Like something they probably should have done early here though is like built up a base on top of that mountain just so they can secure it in case zone pulls back. Because they kind of overcommit to this, right? They look for storm surge tags, they overcommit to a solo running this way, when they probably could have replaced this, made a fake base, and then pulled out this way. Or at least left one person here so that nobody flanks them. Because when you have zones like this, you expect a lot of people to rotate wide, right? Rito's rotating wide, this Savage Island team's rotating wide, so they're chilling here until zone pops. And then they're fast going towards this mountain because that's center of second zone. They probably should have just made a fake base here and just chilled. At least they left one person so they can kind of ward off people. Because trios is all about maintaining controls of the position that you have. Like, I don't know if you guys ever watched Zape before, right? Ages ago, like when they were winning trios and shit, they used to control this entire area when zone was pleasant. Like they controlled all of this. Not Zape, sorry, Clicks, Bizzle, and Commandment. Like when they had zone, they cleared. They made a base here, they made a base here, and they made a base here. So they have easy storm surge, but they also have complete control of this area, basically cutting off any sort of rotations. When you get zone like this and you're gifted zone second zone like this. Oh, why is it so fat? Fucking hell. You kind of want to take advantage of that and kind of claim all the space, right? So they can make a base here, they can make a base here, and they can make a base front side here. So they have control of this whole area. Second zone pops, they're like this, and then if third zone pops like this, they can expect a lot of people, like nobody to be on the back, because nobody really wants to rotate down here when they see two bases up here and they want to get tagged. So they're probably rotating more towards Misty, going through the builds and stuff to kind of get block off angles. So you have access to third zone center a lot easier as well that way. Alright, pulls back up the mountain.
I have more impulses. 5 impulses.
So I think like the first thing you need to do when you're not high ground like this, you just have to build up and then shockwave. I feel like if they shockwave from this spot, they're just gonna get completely scuffed. It's gonna bounce against the
I
mountain.
can split you some. I
Oh,
split it to you.
unless they're playing solo.
Take it.
Here.
And this set is one for you. One for
Oh, I like this. Yeah.
gonna-
So this saves the mats as well. Like instead of triple shockwave, they single shockwave.
We need to go
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
We need to go up.
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that a lot actually.
Come to me.
So like expected, they went
Come
up.
together. Come.
Come.
They are shockwave together.
Faster. Do.
That's gonna scuff. Yeah.
Oh.
Like they're not even up the mountain yet. Like.
Yeah, got fucking nade.
Are you shooting?
Be careful. Run away. I'm below.
This is kind of removing that RNG factor you have.
Decyptos.
Okay, going.
Instantly builds up towards the mountain. Like not saying low
We can
ground.
play white zone. We can play white zone.
50. Do you need mats? I'm with you.
Wait, how's Hen got in here so quick? Hold on.
Nice, that's nice. Give me mats.
Yes.
Did Hen shockwave?
Okay, let's go. We're gonna go up, okay?
Yeah, Hen did shockwave up.
I got.
But like for difficult terrains like this, I think it's really good to split shockwaves. Like if it goes up a mountain, like any sort of terrain where like goes up mountains like this. Like if you have zones here or here, I think it's really good to split your shockwaves. Otherwise, in like flat ground areas, you just want to do the normal shockwaves. Because there's no chance you make it up like a triple shock if you have to go up a mountain, right? You always have to go up layers. And you'd rather save mats and use 3 shockwaves individually than use up 200 mats per person solo.
Freaking. Oh no.
Oh, he shockwaved.
Yeah.
He shocked over.
What the fuck is happening? Yeah, where are you? Where are you? Okay, we're coming.
Oh, what the fuck?
Okay, give me. Thank you, come on.
Let's go. Storm.
Replace. Oh no, I can't replace. Although I'm holding.
It's drop.
Look at you, we can play the eye, guys. It's not the last
I
season.
have 90 mats.
I've cracked that. Here, take. We can.
Interesting.
I have only one build. You take this. Okay, let's.
I feel like this is kind of a high risk, no reward play. Right? Like with 11 people left, what do you expect? How many teams are left? Probably like 6 or 7 in this kind of situation. So getting like all the placement points from this on, if you're looking at a purely FNCS perspective, like this is where you get the most placement points right now. Is it really worth to take height here for the chance to win?
Let's go.
I don't know.
Let's go, we can do it now.
I don't think it would be.
Let's go now.
Like if you die here, like you throw your placement points.
Crack two, guys. Crack 2.
Okay.
I cracked 2.
Okay, nice. They have no mats, bro.
Yeah, there are no mats.
Oh, they puts up.
Goes up the hill. They were planning this before it goes up the hill. Like they're in zone. So,
Die.
like if they said it, okay, we do it when zone pops and goes uphill, then it's fine. But they had no information of it going uphill. They were on a good layer here. Like it could have pulled back, right?
Let's go, we can do it now. Let's go. I have 0 mats now. One is here.
I think it's worth because they're not great mats and they can't top last zone. Like the thing is, like you don't have information on height, right? Like all they saw was basically floors above them, 2 layers above. Like that doesn't tell you any sort of weakness, right? It was hard mats as well, so it wasn't wood. So you can't say like, oh, this team above us has no mats, for example. And in trios meta now, like if anyone has any sort of shockwaves, you're basically gonna get scuffed because their first reaction, as if they see someone take height, is instantly shockwave back up, right? Like we remember this from Season X trios. The meta was so fucking stupid. Everyone just shockwave back up if you try to take height from them. So I don't know, like it's fine to do it. I think that'd be if they see like here.
Let's go.
Like, they wait 10 seconds, see where zone goes, and then they see it go up a hill. Okay, now you commit to
So we
it.
can do it now.
But doing it here is just random. Like, if it pulls back down, then you have like a complete, like,
Let's go.
free layer for yourself that you can drop down and take ultra low, right? But here, like, you're completely committing to zone going back over this mountain. If it doesn't go back over the mountain, you've kind of wasted, you've kind of made, like, a random decision for no point.
I have 0 mats now.
I bet they get second here, right then? There's no way they win from this point. Yeah.
I can do anything, bro. I don't
Oh my god, the boogie bombs.
What the fuck is happening?